Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a brand new day. It's a beautiful day. It's a Wednesday here in the Enchanted Forest. And I have got on the line with me here on the show today a very special guest. And many of you know her. Tracey Sivek from Traverse City, Michigan, is joining me this morning here on Exploring Sacred. Good morning, Tracey.
Good morning. How are you today?
Well, it's a day, isn't it? And another opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
Today, good morning, Nellie. Nellie's in the chat room. Kimberly Wink's in the chat room. Yep, chat room is open, everybody. So please come on in. Tracey and I welcome your presence in the chat room. And we say good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you who are joining us today from all over Grandmother Earth. And Tracey Sivek is a whole lot more than just a friend who lives up in Traverse City, Michigan. And so I don't really know where to begin. Tracey, would you spend a moment letting folks know who you are and where you are?
I am in Traverse City, like you said, and I have a business up here that I work from, Serenity's Path I created years ago. I am an intuitive channel and a medium. I'm a Reiki master teacher. But I guess what I love working with the light, the spirit, with people. It's just such a joy to be able to watch people move through their blockages in life, to be able to find their purpose, let's say. And even in these times, I see it happening. I'm watching so many people have that light go on, saying, all these years we've wondered what this was all about, all this growth, all these things we were going through. And it's for this moment. It's for this moment of strength and power and our belief system to help hold this energy up for people to still believe, have faith, and have hope.
Mm-hmm. I love that, Tracey. If anyone wanted to learn more about your company, Serenity's Path, where can they find you?
I have a website. It's www.traceysivek.com. It'll take you right to Serenity's Path. I also am on Facebook under Serenity's Path. You can go to Tracey L. Sivek, and they can find me there.
Perfect. Love that. So I just typed that into the chat room, everybody, so we have a reference there for you. Tracey, you and I were talking just before the show that, this is quite a time that we're living in. I think we can all agree on that. And it's really easy to get lost in the hype and the media and the doom and the gloom. And in that, forgetting that each and every one of us plays a role here on Grandmother Earth about where we're going. And right. I loved your visual of the grid, the flower of life grid enveloping right. Grandmother at this time.
Yes, and like I said, I was telling you that I think you posted it the other day, so I I did copy it, and I thought we could post it in the comments for people to see the importance of it. But, it's a time when we're witness. I don't blow sunshine at people. We are being witness to this thing that is moving through the country and through the world. But what we need to concentrate on is what we can do to change that. And it's those people at home sitting there that feel like they're nobody. I'm not Dana. I'm not Tracey. I'm not Terry. I'm not all these people who are doing this work. Yes, they are. Mm-hmm. It's their prayers. It's their energy. It's their healing modality. It's how they treat people. All of that beautiful core energy is their God light, their creator light, their universal light. And that lifts up through the ethers into this grid. Mm-hmm. And it's that grid that we feed, that our angelics, that our universal beings are coming in and clearing for us. This picture is a beautiful example of that work that is being done for us right now. We are being so protected on so many levels. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely loved it when you posted that. It was like, boom, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
We forget, each and every single one of us, with a beating heart and a kind thought, we're a point of light.
That's a beautiful way to say it, Tracey. The other day I was notified that a group of the medicine people there on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation and other reservations around there, Rosebud, etc., were gathering on Pine Ridge to put up prayers. And, this is an indigenous thing that goes way back in all of our cultures to understand the positivity of prayer and of thought, but also the positivity of the fact that we're all related. And so in putting up an energetic prayer or an energetic thought, we're contributing to a greater thought, the grid that you're talking about. And it supersedes physicality. And I think that sometimes people who are not maybe familiar with or uncomfortable with mysticism wonder how all of that can work. Oh, that's mysticism. That's a mystery. It's part of something we can't see, feel, or touch. And yet we can all feel it. I think we can feel it, even if we're not conscious that we're feeling it. That every single one of us that puts up a positive thought or a prayer or something positive on Facebook or wherever, we're contributing to a grid, an unseen grid that affects the seen. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I totally believe in that. I believe if we capture the attention of just one person in a day, that one person carries that feeling and that energy on to all of their people. It's about putting up something that makes them think. Mm-hmm. It's about talking to someone and allowing them to have that aha moment and go, wow, I am a part of this and I'm going to share this. Mm-hmm. That grid is such a representation that covering the world, I mean, it is a universe. It's all over. This isn't just us. It's not just Michigan. Mm-hmm. It's all over the world. We are connected to our brothers and our sisters. We're connected to the four-leggeds. We are connected to each plant sustaining life force through itself. We are connected to all things right now. Mm-hmm. We are bursting and we are alive. And I'll tell you something, people are going to think I'm crazy, Dana, but
that's what we love about you, Tracey, is your brand of crazy.
I feel like Billy Graham is coming through me. I feel like I could get on top of something and go, amen, because you know what? This is a powerful time to be alive. This is what we've been doing the work for. Mm-hmm. This is something that we have never heard of, not a pandemic to the point in modern world where we've locked down. Mm-hmm. This is a powerful time for us to look at ourselves and say, I am lifting the underbelly of that sludge up and out through my heart center, out through my fingertips, and I am helping transmute, transform, lift it up for them to take it up and out and away from us. There is a whole new beautiful world sitting under here waiting for us to arrive.
I love that. Lifting up the sludge.
Oh, that underbelly is the one thing that I keep seeing. And I just, again, I just feel like, that's what each and every one of us through our I love the people that are like, oh, I just pray. Mm-hmm. Well, honey,
thank you.
You are holding up some sludge. You keep it going. We need that.
We do. Years ago, one of the first times I was sitting in a sweat lodge out on the reservation, I noticed an awful lot of laughter inside that extremely hot sweat lodge. And afterward, I asked Joaquin, I said, what's with all the laughing? And he said, laughter is the best medicine we have, especially in times of darkness. In troubling times, laughter is the best medicine because it makes us feel good on the inside. And it begins the process of healing, that laughter. And the other day I was watching, many of the powwows, most of the powwows that were supposed to be going on right now were canceled. And so there is a virtual social distancing powwow going on around Turtle Island. And I've been watching the little itty bitty jingle dancers and the elder women jingle dancers and the various dancers. And I think to myself, as I'm watching them, Wakian is right, because I'm watching these little ones sending up their prayers with their jingle dresses and their eagle fans. And I do feel different on the inside. The joy, the virtual joy.
Exactly. How can you not?
Exactly.
I mean, I think that right now the energy is so raw when you see those things. And when you post those, I love watching different things that you're posting because it just makes my skin tingle. And I'm like, that again is another sign that it's all good. This is good. And it's beautiful. And they're sending up their prayers in that way. And I love the way that people are learning to, well, we can't have it. And instead of saying in that box of I can't, they're finding ways to make it happen all over. So,
Tracey, here in Lowell, Michigan, where I live down here in the country, what I've noticed, because we have a little group page called Lowell Community Chatter, and what I've noticed is that in this time of lifting up that sludge, it seems to me that more people are feeling free to say, stop being so mean. Or how can you be a little kinder? Yes. How about having a little more patience with that young lady at the pizza parlor who didn't have your pizza done right when she said it was going to be done? I feel as though people who normally would have sat back and said, oh, geez, I just don't want to tip my toe into that, are saying, hold up, wait a minute. Just be nice. Be kind.
Yes.
What's happening up in Traverse City, one of my favorite places on earth?
Thank you, but I'm thinking Lowell is mine because I'm thinking that if I spend enough time there, I can squat. I'm seeing a lot of it, and it can go either way. It's the people that are in an enormous fear base are in attack mode. Then there's others who are saying, wait a minute, I need to take a breath here and work through this because it's important. And I think that that's the key. We're finding out right now what is important. You know me, I'm sarcastic, I'm funny. I always say that I'm spiritually bipolar because I can post the great, beautiful things, and then I'm just, it's my dad's fault. And I have humor.
Yes, you do.
And people were, they'll say something to me, and I'll go, no, that was meant to be funny. That's you need to look at within you and to see why you couldn't laugh in this moment. Why is it that you couldn't take a moment and go, God, she's a dork? It's we're on edge. So it is a time to be mindful. It's a time to use our voices and to use it in a tone. And I always say this, and I think maybe you taught me this, but to speak to Archangel Gabriel and ask that in this moment, can I please speak my truth with grace and ease? Let it fall on ears willing to listen, because it is super important right now for people to hear us. Did I wander?
No, that's beautiful, Trey, and that is who you are. The chat room is full, and Kelly Spencer is saying, amen, Tracey,
I love her little sunshine. Man, she's just cuter than a button.
Yes, she certainly is. That is
I appreciate everybody showing up today. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really crowded in there with people that are definitely are shining their light and their love in the world at this time, because they're people who shine their light and their love in the world at all times, right? And sometimes when you're the person that people go to looking for some light, looking for some love, looking for some confidence, some encouragement, that doesn't exclude any of us from also needing that at times, and it doesn't exclude us from being human. So let's talk for a moment about the fact that we, sitting in our homes or, wherever we happen to be, and consciously putting good thoughts out, whether those are thoughts, prayers, contemplations, whatever they are for somebody, even yoga poses, right? Whatever the posture is that you use during the course of the day to emit positivity. It's really important to take care of yourself in all of this. It's not a time to let yourself get drained or to exclude yourself from having human emotions, would you say?
Yes, yes. And I think that the messages that I've been receiving have been along those lines and very personal to me because I come from a little cherub form, and they're letting me know, water, take care of yourself. You teach every day all these things for people to do for themselves, and you've been so busy. When was the last time you've done that for you? It's about taking those moments in time, taking those times to meditate, to do the yoga, to do the mindful prayer, to take that in and apply and find that grace in that and that power in that. Being outdoors, I know a lot of people have, their opinion about that, but to me right now, being able to connect to the earth, to pick up not so much right now that crystal, not so much that pretty collection, Nellie, that you have. It's about going outside and picking up that stone with the dirt and saying thank you. Being prayerful to the earth, to the mother, and having little ceremonies, for yourself. It's really important to incorporate, I think, right now, all of that self-care in any way, shape, or form through what you're intaking for food, what you're drinking, your thoughts, clearing out your thoughts. Have you had any, with me the other day, I had something come to me that said, okay, so one thing that you're carrying is a lot of, let's say, old situations, old relationships where the words, the communication did not happen and there was angst between you and someone or a relationship that went awry. And they showed me, they said, you really need to let this go. We want you to gather some cedar and we want you to place a flower and sprinkle some rice. We want you to make this like a little altar. And in this, pray over it for forgiveness to all people involved, to free it from your body, mind, and spirit, and to send it down the river. And I thought, okay, I'm doing that this weekend because you know what? None of that right now, none of it serves me.
Right.
And I think a lot of us could benefit from really looking at some of the things we're holding on to and going, no, I need to heal this for me and for the person that's involved. I need to let this go with blessings, love, and healing.
Beautifully said. I always find it interesting, like right now, people have time to clean their homes. And so spring cleaning has come really early for a lot of people. And I am a true believer that spring cleaning is also a lot of the time when we do our own interior cleaning.
Yeah.
And it's also the same time of the year when the suicide rate around the globe is the highest. And sometimes I feel as though because this is the time of the year when emotions and memories and time of emergence, right, out of the winter and into the spring goes on. With that comes a lot of things that bubble up to the surface. And a lot of people don't understand that there are ways of letting go, that it isn't always our physicality that wants to let go. But as you said, it can be a situation. It can be words that were unspoken or words that were spoken, relationships with people or people that need to be let go. And there can be a misinterpretation. So for you, when you're doing that ceremony, and ceremony doesn't, you and I both grew up Catholic, so we know high ceremony and Latin Mass when we're in it, right?
Oh, I love it.
Right. But so it doesn't have to involve an altar of that
No.
magnitude or a cathedral or any sort of thing like that. For somebody who's listening, who's saying, well, I didn't grow up Catholic and I think I want to try one of those ceremonies, what would you say to somebody would be an easy way, a simple way, let's put it that way, a simple way of creating a ceremony of honoring and letting go of what's no longer useful within them?
Within them, well, I am the outdoors girl, so I would say there's two ways to go about it. If you have things within your home, you can create your own little altar of bring together your favorite things, gather them together. And I love your cards that you came out with, because what I'll do is place that card there, and that'll become my epicenter of prayer, and that'll be my letting go. That's something that you can do indoors. You can use stones, crystals. You can bring in a candle. You can just be creative with everything around you. Bring in your favorite scarf. Let that be the base. Make it from a space of love, and then pray with it. Chant. Do what it is that's your belief system. Do what you do and ask that it be lifted up and out. You could go outside, pick up some leaves, pick up some acorns, pine cones, add some dirt, take things that are old around you, the buds that have spent their time and we're waiting for them to recreate. That's a symbol of this situation is barren. It's time to let it go so new buds can spring forth. So it's bringing all those things together in simple ways. You don't have to travel. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go down to the river, but bring them together and use it as a space of prayerful letting go. I mean, that's me.
I love that.
I just inside, and outside, it's anything that's beautiful.
When you were talking about that, it reminded me of a ceremony that I performed several years ago, actually, when my sister Del Marie asked me to do the funeral rites for her husband. Yeah. And so Todd and I were traveling to South Dakota so that I could do all the funerals there. And there was a beautiful ceremony that I had been given, and I practiced it on the way to South Dakota, and it's exactly what you're talking about. And that, for me, it was taking some tobacco and releasing the tobacco into a river. Oh, yeah. And watching that tobacco float away. And everything associated with that prayer floating away. So there are a lot of ways that we can perform our own letting go, our own interior cleaning.
Yes.
Because it really is a time of, as you said in the beginning of the show, it is a time of considering or reconsidering what it is that's important, what's going to be important going forward, and really unburdening. And I don't find it ironic at all that all of this is happening around the time when many people around the world are getting ready to celebrate Easter, which is the time of new beginnings.
Right. I agree. It is, to me, a very sacred time. Like I said, I know that it sounds odd, but this is a time to celebrate who you are, to not just alone in who you are, but that unseen energy that flows from one of us to another in any way, any form. A lot of people are traveling in their dreams. A lot of people are having very active dreams right now.
Yes.
And being with people in that way and being taught some amazing things. So I think we are in a great time of rebirth, renewal, and we need, please stay focused on that. It's not easy. I'm not going to say that I don't get tempted to fall into, oh my gosh, but then I go, no, I can be witness to this, but I can't give up my space of love, hope, and light to just let that fear sit there instead.
I like that. Here, as you know, here at the school, every morning at 8 a.m., I light a candle.
Yeah.
And that candle has been dedicated to world peace and healing for all living beings. And it's very simple. I light a candle and I say a few positive words. I send out a few positive thoughts surrounding that. It can be that easy to be part of something beautiful that is occurring right now. And it doesn't have to be complicated whatsoever. Simply saying, I send my love out to the world and all living things, seen and unseen, however we want to put that. And more importantly, one of the things I learned from my sister Dell, I guess I learn a whole lot from her, is that it's one thing to say those words and it's another thing to walk with them. So putting up the prayer and then walking congruently with it is also really important because it shows being in alignment with.
Exactly. My lesson about, yes, walk with it. You need to walk with it and experience every day. And, your enchanted forest, who you are and what you do. My gosh, you must blast the grid from that space that you're in. And we all appreciate you for having that space.
Thanks,
because
Trace.
I don't know if you realize how easy it is for us to connect to that enchanted forest. It's through a picture, through a memory. But it is like being able to go to that quote-unquote church, without the four walls. We can handle going in there and just lighting up some prayer and saying, all right, there you go.
That's right. Reconnecting to that Inipi altar, right? Those that have been in the sweat lodge, you can reconnect to that energy there at the Inipi and sit in that and visualize yourself back in the sweat lodge, praying if you like. That's part of the reason Todd and I are here in the forest with the ceremonial grounds and the trails. Spirit lives here. Anyone who's ever come here knows that Spirit lives here. Those that are able to see the spirits that are in the forest, the protective spirits and the light spirits, all of those. I want to talk before we wrap up about the way that our animals are being affected right now, Tracey, because animals are sensitive to what's going on. And so when we maintain balance, it's also easier for our pets and the animals to have a semblance of balance.
Yes, it's been strange. For me, I've been seeing it within my own home with my 3 cats because I'm home a little bit more, and they're my little spies. If I bring something in that I'm not supposed to, or they let me know. But lately, there's been such a peace and calm within my home. I'll wake up and have this tingle of bliss, being connected to Spirit, and just knowing it just feels beautiful to be alive. And I know they feel that energy. I see it in people with their relationship with their dogs, their farm animals. I mean, the people that work with the raptors, the birds, my sister with her cheetahs. It's all amazing right now. I think like I said, man, I could just get on that podium and Billy Graham. I'm so excited.
Well, they are very sensitive to what goes on around us. And, one thing that was just brought to my attention, I got one of those taps on the shoulder. Some people are averse to the word pray or prayer.
Yeah, I know.
And so what's another word that we can use? Because a lot of people connotate prayer with religion.
I would say your heart-filled intent. What is your heart-filled intent for the day, for yourself, for humanity? Some people chant. Like I said, I have a friend who is very adverse to my word of prayer. I don't quit using prayer or God or things like that because I think that represents something to me that's universal. And I need people just have to get over that. But it's because it's of a good thing. And I think if you can find any word or anything that you practice with that is of love. Just understand that when we say these things, it's not because we're selling anything. It's because that's our expression. Please share with us.
Mm-hmm.
Share in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
What are the words you use to set that free, to let that energy rise? Mm-hmm. Share with us what you say. I would love to hear that.
I agree. And you can go to the Exploring Sacred page there on Facebook to share. Jocelyn is down there in beautiful Georgia. Jocelyn is saying that she's got male and female cardinals tapping on her windowsills. So, the animals they're reacting. They're also reassuring us. Kelly's dogs, and she's got some big ones, they want more lap time right now.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a connection now, I think, even closer with one another in our humanity, but also just in the breath of life that each and every one of us has within us. We're being drawn closer. And I believe that that's a pattern that's going to continue. Recognizing.
I do too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love the pictures you see of the the coyotes entering the empty space in San Francisco, or the dolphins running now through the Venice, and all the new energy that's around. Cougars coming down because no one's around and exploring houses, which would make people nervous. But it's like the animals are going, what is it? They can sense this. It's like, what's going on? And I have to smile because it is beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful.
It's my little simple heart going, oh, yeah.
Everyone is appreciating the use of, positive heartfelt intentions, coming from the heart space.
Yes.
And I think that's good. And also, I believe in this time of getting closer to humanity, to one another, and really parting the veils of what we may feel our differences. It was interesting. A few weeks back, I had a client come to me and she said, I was a little hesitant to come to you for a session. And I said, why? And she said, well, I thought maybe you were just too religious. And I said, well, I've been accused of being too religious. That's for certain. I have. And sometimes it's just a language that we've grown up with that can be a barrier until we have conversation. And I think right now is a time for all kinds of conversations to happen, virtually or with the people that you're with. But by the time we were done with our session, she and her husband and I were just roaring. And she said, now I'm understanding that you're not religious necessarily. You're very spiritual. And by the way, you're pretty doggone funny.
I love that.
Right. So this is also an opportunity for barriers to come down and a deeper understanding of one another.
It is truly. I understand that. I've had to stop and say, okay, what are the words you use? Because I have certain words. So during this session, this healing, what words would you like me to use? Because everything is all things for me. So yeah, and plus, you are such a cute little sprite. You just have this little pixie nose stuff comes out, and I'll be like, there you are.
There I am. Yeah, it seems I inherited my daddy's nose, so we always wondered where it came from.
And I love it.
Well, with that, we are, it's hard to believe the half hour is over. And again, everybody, if you want to learn more about Tracey, and please do, go to TraceySivek.com, Serenity's Path on Facebook. You can also find her on Instagram and connect with her, learn more about her. And when you are in Traverse City, and everybody should go to Traverse City, Michigan, because it is... Well, that's Todd's hometown as well. That's where he was born and raised. And it's one of my favorite places on earth. Look her up, connect with her up there in Traverse City. And in the meantime, connect virtually. Tracey, the last few moments are yours, honey. So what is it you'd like to share with everybody?
The biggest message is to just keep the faith. To shut off that valve when you start to feel the fear come in. There's so much around us right now that is trying to feed that fear base and to invade that light. You know what? Your light can just buzz that away. You know, I call it like a bug zapper. Get it away, move it on. You don't have that time and space. Stay in your creative love light, and just that's when we lift up the fear and say, there you go, you're going to the grid. You're going to the grid. I can't do this. I'm going to trust that we're going to be okay, because I'll tell you something, we are on the edge of some good things.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Tracey.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you, Dana, for having me.
Of course. And thank you to everybody in the chat room and everybody out there around Grandmother Earth. Thank you for shining your light. That's what it's all about. And continue to do that, because we all feel it. Next up, we have at the top of the hour, our dear friend, Terry Renewal, and dear Miss T at 11 a.m. And look forward to having you back at that time. Have a beautiful day, Tracey.
You too, Dana. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Shine on, everybody.